Yo, yo, yo. What's up? What's up? Right, let's see if we can get more than our one viewer. Thank you very much, dedicated viewer. Appreciate the shit out of you. Let's go have a look at what's on offer today. Hope you guys are well. Got some seriously hot inflation numbers out today. Let's see what's up. Getting everything ready here in the background. I'll be with you guys right meow. Almost with you. Almost with you there. Hope you guys are well. Let's get that trading view open. It's time to make some money. Bruh, why is my trading view not showing up here? Wagwan, bro. Why is trading view not showing up here? Beautiful. We are in it. Flub's going to join us in a little bit. Let's see what's going on here. All right, let's go live. Hey, -1 viewers. Hope you guys are well. Damn, those inflation numbers came out hot. Hot, hot, hot. inflation numbers today, dude. This is gonna really start supporting that narrative that inflation's spiking, looking like the 1980s all over again. Let's see how the market is positioned. We've had an open already. Let's see what's going on. Alright. Perfect. Let's go see what's up. Damn, dude, there are a lot of peeps underwater right now. No one expected those numbers. 600 again. Seems like the one. So we're gonna see what's up here. See if we can pick ourselves up a little bit of action. Right, so we passed another account yesterday. Pretty happy with that. We're almost at the point where we're gonna start. Getting rather into some There you go. Oh man, that's looking good. So to reiterate, we've got our own proprietary levels that we're looking at. These are affectionately known as the POES levels. And what I do is I infer these levels onto, why is my data delayed? I got to do a login quickly. Let's quickly pop this over. Let's pop this over and let me log in quickly. Apologies for that. Just got to get my delayed data off. You know how it goes. And let's get back in there. We're still not ready. Tradeovate's taking forever to log back in. Not sure why. Got a little bit of broker action going on here. Shouldn't be the case, but it is the case. Let's try and fix that box up a little bit there. There you go. Excellent, that's better. Far better. Seems like we're having a bit of issues here. Don't know why this thing is not. Logging in, but I certainly can't work with delayed data. That's for sure. So just give me a second here. Let's go have a look at some of those inflation numbers. While we wait, I got like a couple of minutes. Dude, what is up today? Why is this thing doing this? Anybody else having any issues? I suppose I'm the only one. On the Tanuki trade side of things, we are just below a put support. So put support around the 600 again as usual. Why is this thing not doing this, bro? See that PPI came out super hot. Everything coming out super hot. We're just gonna have to unfortunately wait for this thing to log in. But until that happens, I can't let you guys see my secret sauce. Can't let you see my secret sauce. I'm trading the 20-minute candles here. I'm just waiting for a little bit of confirmation. 605. Let's see what's up here. We've got our, yep, that 20-minute. We didn't break through any of my push levels. So, unfortunately, I got no trade at the moment. A little bit delayed in the data. I don't know what in the hell is going on with Proprietary, dude. Why can I not see any live data? Not entirely sure what's going on with Proprietary, but I'm gonna have to see if I can keep trying to get into this thing. It's crazy talk, bro. Luckily I didn't have any positions kicking off right now, so we're pretty good with that. Just gonna save this quickly and see if I can restart this chucker, because this son bitch ain't working. Not what you would want to see. Not what you would want to see if you were a policymaker in America. This is looking pretty shaky. And why is it looking shaky? Because we had a blowout inflation numbers. So blowout inflation numbers maintains the narrative of higher for longer. Higher for longer is not something that we wanted to hear about. We were definitely more keen to have this stay low so that we could further that notion of some cuts. But right now, it's almost impossible to suggest cuts, because this sucker just keeps climbing. It just keeps climbing, and it just keeps climbing. Right, let's see if I can close down some shit here. Potentially it is something on my side, but I'm going to give it one more try. We're trading view, and I bet you this is the one that's going to work. I mean, that's a pretty big year-on-year increase. All shits and giggles aside. Hey, it's a different screen. Alright, perfect, perfect. Let's see if we can quickly get this in here. Alright, I think the login has been cancelled. Let's check it out. Why would you be cancelled? Okay, that's a bit strange. Let's try different accounts. Maybe we can get some joy here. Whoa, what is going on? Failed to log in. Bro, this is not looking good. Why the hell is this shit so crap? Got another 16 minutes before I need to make a trade. So I'm just chilling. Just chilling for the moment. Just chilling for the moment. No need to panic just yet. Bruh. Hey, that data should now be live. All right, cool. That's live data. Let's turn this shizness back on and get into it. All right. Excellent. There you go. There you go. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. We're finally back. You're probably not listening to me live because I don't see anyone here. 595, big put support there. Let's go have a look at Tanuki. What's Tanuki showing us? Tanuki today is showing us massive DEX levels at 24,695. Remember, the DEX is the one that I'm kind of looking for always. Net volume is sitting also at the 24,695. At the high volatility level at the 24. I should fucking restart this stupid ass thing. It's not always the greatest, so we'll try our best. Looking a bit better, looking a bit better. Let's see if we can get that thing a bit more. There you go. You guys should see. There you go. There you go. So negative gamma on the cards. Got all of our levels now refreshed, and we are looking to go. Put support hasn't changed. I'm going to quickly go and copy this with the new feature from Tanuki Trade. Thank you very much. And what we're going to do is we're going to plonk it into our GEX and have a look at what the changes look like. Okay. What do the changes look like? Ooh, we've just basically crunched that range even smaller. I'm looking at my push levels. Luckily, it doesn't seem like we did too much on that. Nah, we didn't do nothing on that. So we're good, we're good, we're good. Remember, I'm looking for a typical push play here. This would have been a tough buy, but I will continue to monitor it. We've got a push support here along with the GEX levels. What's the market doing today? No doubt it's dumping. No doubt it's dumping. Microsoft making a little bit of a pullback there. Whoa, Google looking good. Apple getting a Epstein. Apple getting Epstein. Alright, let's have a butchers here. The rest of it. Let's get a little sound check going on. Just to ensure that we're good to go. Right, looking good. Nvidia getting shat on. Absolutely shat on. What's the VIX looking like? Still 10 minutes before I have potentially to make a decision on trades. So I'm just chilled. Silver still climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. I'm very, very happy to see that. Did lock in some profits this morning. So I'm chilled. Dollar remaining strong. VIX on the VVIX. Yeah, the VIX itself looking pretty strong. The VVIX, or the volatility of the VIX, sitting well above what we like to see, which is the 100 mark. It's not good. VIX futures jumping up over 20 as well. So volatile day in negative gamma. What do we do in negative gamma? Well, negative gamma is a particular type of environment where, as you can see on screen, I hope you can see on screen at least, we are looking to extend our stops and we're looking to play pivot to pivot, so a lot longer on the trades. If we're sitting in a positive gamma environment, of course we're just looking for little pullbacks and then buying straight back into that. So we've got a little set plan over there. That's pretty cool. All right. My sound check guy almost there. Got our push levels holding strong. Yeah, that does look a bit. That's not getting fucked over. Sorry guys, I had the wrong levels on there. It generally takes a little bit of time just for this to stop moving out here. Here we've got, if we have a little pullback here on this 5 minutes, I'm definitely going to get long. What's the skew looking like today? Skew sitting at 47%, so half, roughly half as much viciousness in the pullbacks as there are on the build-ups. Apologies, I am cack-tired. Big day at work today. That's pretty chilled. So I will be looking to short, obviously. This morning, I had a little bit of a trade going on over there. As you can see, let's just get some of this out of there. Oh, I can already see some. There we go. There you go. That's better, guys. Apologies for that. All right, so that was a good little flip. Definitely getting some buying into that disgustingness. Let's see what we can do here. Are we on the right accounts today? Took a little win this morning during the London time. Saw a little trendy forming. Trendy was here. As you can see, just took a little dub there, 40 points. That's my standard go-to, one strike distance. And we really went for a 1-4, which was a brilliant little win this morning. Pretty happy with that. Glad I got out of the way quite quickly. Took that high and just dumped. So you can already see that somebody knew what was up before it was up. Which it's unfair. Super unfair. But, you know, that's just kind of how the markets are, right? Somebody out there is chuffed while somebody else is getting fucked. Can see it's exactly where I'd want to see it. Popping a bit over. Will it continue? Not sure at all. Not sure at all. Right. So 8 minutes until we have to make decisions. Our decision point is going to be around about here. If we can finish, we have to kind of finish bull here. It's already been our entry position on the M20. Let's have a look back at that. It's going to be moving a little bit at the moment because again it works out my levels based on inferring. And this son of a bitch, for some reason, let's just load this guy again, one shot mode. See if we can get anything looking a bit better there. I'm missing a whole bunch of my indies. There we go. Okay, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Looking much better, looking much better. Nvidia I can see is dumping, but starting to pick up, as you can see here with the rest. Let's see this weak pullback. 603 heavily protected. 600 is our flip point today. No surprise there. Got the weekly as an entry point of sorts. I don't want to be long, so not gonna be jumping into that. Potentially looking rather at good pumps into dump rips. Let's see if that plays out today. There's no good reason why we should get long. Being long is tough. Being long is tough. There's a lot of lines on my screen now. Let's just clear it up for your homies. No, in fact, that's kind of just how I like it. So we're good there. This thing should settle down in 5 minutes. Let's just make sure per candle. Yeah, we're good. Right. Yeah, you can see why I don't want to be short. You probably, if you want to get long, here would be your long points. But again, I'm not interested that much in getting long today. Why? Because it is dangerous to get long today. $607 starting to get stacked up, so we could get a pop up to 607. I wouldn't be that concerned if I had to wait for that. It should be fine. See, our push levels have now settled down. Thank you very much. That data's not coming through nice and tight. Big pump into that open, or big buy into that open, but the dump is far more aggressive. Why am I looking at volume on the Qs? I don't look at volume on the Qs. In fact, I don't use anything for the Qs except my entries. I trade the futures, but I am always and forever looking at the Qs. Qs give me far more insight. We've got a big ripper here, so massive tail on that. It was a rip down to the 24,851 as suggested. Was a good purchase out of there. We've got $1,000 left to make on one apex, and we've got $2,000 to make, or 1.8 rather, to make on another apex, and then we've got another 2 PA accounts. Just to update everyone, I bought a bundle of accounts for the stream on the apex 90% off sale. We've converted quite a few. Got 5, and hopefully, inshallah, 6, 7. So we should see what I did there. 6 or 7 accounts left. Should be good. Should be good to catch some moves there. So again, negative gamma environments. Our levels. Just go update them. So if we want to get stuff on the Qs, what's that little note there? Son of a bitch, I wasn't on 0 day. My bad, guys, my bad. Let's go get that. Let's go get those Qs updated there. Remember that new feature on Tanuki offers us the ability to update more than, we've got a big skiv appeal here forming on the 20 minutes. I'm pretty happy that we should be able to get, yeah, if we get a pop-up above 605, nah, we won't. So what we want to do is we want to tank this thing from 605. So once we get to 605 here, let's short the fuck out of it. Why is this so off today, dude? Okay, either way, I'm looking for 604.90, which is sitting roughly around 605 here, 24,900. So 24,900, good short. Let's see what we can do with 24,900. Got 1 minute. This should be a short for us. Not giving us hope on anything here. There we go. So we're in now. Limit order set at 24,900. Why did I set a limit order at 24,900? Because that would be a typical POES. So let's get that on the charts quickly. We are in that trade now. It's a bit difficult, but at least we're over the highs there, and we have a 40 point down to the weekly POES over there. So we'll just be looking for a 40-point take up. It's been dumping all day. So as usual on everything else, we should be to our next high volatility pivot. So that's 108 points down. That's all the way at 24,791. So according to the push strategy, 24,791 or 24,860. So 24,860 is generally where you would want to get it, but we're taking it with 5 connies because of the volatility, and we're just going to extend our stop losses and stay within our strategy as we do. So 50 points on the stop loss. 5 connies should get us around about, I think it's like 300 down or something like that. Not getting the love there. Let's go send that to the back and keep this all looking a bit better. Could get immediately wiped out here at the open. Got lots of volume here around the 24,930s. Skew is in my favor. We are in negative gamma at the moment, so I'm kind of liking this trade, but we'll see how it now plays out. Of course, there's not much you can do once you hit that buy or sell button. You just go with your strat, and that is my strat. My strat says to me that I've got to be taking this down to the next push pivot, but I don't need to. 815 would actually be a far more juicier level. Reason for that being is we've got a major gex level there, or at least in between this high volatility level and everything else. Anything on the news front? What we're looking at here: construction spending slightly up. PMI again coming in hot, dude, coming in hot. 245. So yeah, that news. Oh, and we're out. Yeah, and we're out of that one. So we had a little spike there. Unfortunately, what we can and what we will do is now wait for our next opportunity, which should be arising within the next 8 minutes. So the next 8 minutes would be a long from 24,900 up, and we can just kind of chill and wait for that guy. So we had our dubs this morning, and we've now taken a little bit of an L. So we are only down 100. But that is the way the cookie crumbles. We're not too concerned about that. This is trading, right? It is not a game where you can predict with any certainty. Let's see. Right. Probably should have had a little bit of extra there, but I can see the CVD is really starting to break out. If we look here, whoa. Okay, CVD not particularly helping us. We'll take that out there. This was the 20 minute, the M20 push. Let's have a look at the M30 push. Nah, nothing there either. So we're cool, we're cool, we're cool. Might still rip down here, but my next setup is not for 15 minutes. So we're just chilling until then. High volatility environment. We don't go in with full position sizes. We go in with half position sizes. Huge VIX, negative skew, in a negative gamma environment. So that was the reason why I tried to hold till the next major pivot there. This was an M20 push. Right. Okay, so looks like 615 is on the cards. Remember, 607 is the place that dudes want to get or have put a huge amount of emphasis on. So we'll just chill it out there and wait for that guy. Okay. 6 or 6, 6 or 7, nicely stacked on the GEX stream. Long's looking a bit better. Remember 24,900, but nothing to do for the next 14 minutes. So I'm just chilled until then. Very chilled until then. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Just put your next potential positions. Okay, next potential positions would be something like this. That's a motherfucker position right there. Okay, not sure that we would get that. There's no good reason why that should come back up there, but it is to the previous highs. So we'll see what's up. If we get a weak pullback on something like the Qs, everything looking bullish, which is completely weird. Why would Qs be bullish now? There's no good reason for it to be bullish. Absolutely no reason for it to be bullish. So we'll just hold off until we need to. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, and beautiful. Where's my volume? Where's my volume? There's my volume. Okay, so volume here really plays an important factor in my entries. What I don't want to see, especially when we're in well, we're kind of not in any environment at the moment. If we go look at our Tanuki trade, you guys will see that we're currently sitting in a negative transition. So this is basically this little blue box here to the right. This is where the flip point or the market's going to have the most amount of volatility as market participants are having to do their markety things, you know, flip positions, go long, go short, hedge, things like that. But my next position would be down here. So we'll just pop a little texty in here and we can pop down here potential positions. In 10 minutes, so we've got potential positions in 14 minutes in fact. We'll see what some of those higher time frames are looking like at 1 hour. Got a bottom wick, so you're happy with that. Got a bottom wick, so you're happy with that. 4 hour making a monstrous top wick. Yo, that's a hell of a top wick. Interesting times, interesting times. What's up to the one viewer? I don't know if you are a viewer or some sort of bot, but either way, what's happening here at the moment, I'm just currently waiting for the end of this 20 minutes candle, and then we can look at jumping in here. This is a massive position. If we do get it, I'll be super happy. Why am I taking this position? Well, a couple of reasons. Mainly around the fact that these proprietary levels that I created called the POES levels. Oh, nice one. Hey, Spider! You fucking legend. Hope you well, brah. Hope you well, brah. Took a little bit of an L there, but it's an L only in monetary values and not actually in strategy, because the strategy played out as I wanted it. Next potential positions at 24,905.25. Pretty juiced about that, because if we do, this would be against the grain. Everyone's super neg at the moment. Looking at the data that came out, man, huge inflation, well, not huge, but bigger inflation spike, completely unexpected. One thing that is kind of strange though is that metals seem to be holding the fort, where I would not expect that to be the case. Yeah, everything. VIX high, and with VIX high, the VVIX high, in a transition area. We're not particularly in negative gamma anymore, But what we are in is an environment where there's not much upside squeeze. It's a very, very, very small amount of potential upside, but it is primarily just on the downside. So I'm going to use this wicked new way where we can go here and we can copy these out and we can paste them into our awesome Gex Stream indicator. Reason for that is TradingView's API only offers them the potential. Well, where are we? Only offers them the potential to update this 5 times a day, whereas the market obviously updates during a New York session quite dramatically. Where, according to Tanuki Trade, are some of the major bounce points? 25,100. You can see there, DEX. The DEX is stacked out. So difference between DEX and GEX. DEX simply is where you want things to kind of flip on a dime, and the GEX would be the overall sentiment. So the GEX currently just sitting in negative transition, meaning we are in this blue area where a lot of market participants are now loading their shotguns, refocusing their rifles, sharpening their knives, kicking dogs. You know how it goes, just getting into the mood. And we will be doing the same. I'm hoping this 24,900, and let's go confirm. 24,900, nothing there. It's a nothing burger level. Only thing that really matters there to me, 604. So 604 again in a nothing burger area. Let's get this onto the M20 and have a look where 604 sits. Yeah, okay, so 604 is just a bit below where my next potential position is. My next potential position is at 605, right above this pullback over here. We had a negative 20 minutes candle form here, and according to my back testing and my bank account, these are really good positions to take. You definitely want to keep your eye on the typical POES. The typical POES is a fantastic play, and it states categorically that when you fall or finish over a POES level in a certain direction, you catch the retracement back to that level and a pop back up to the next POES level. And in this case, it's the daily POES. So we've got the daily POES, and this is the POES tracker. Yeah, this is the POES tracker official. So we've got the daily POES over here, and the daily POES is telling us, let's just get this a little bit smaller so we can see what happened. Right there. That's better. That's looking better. Let's just hide that because we don't actually need to know about that right now. We've broken through that little trendy, and it would make sense again for this to come down, tap, and fly off. Doesn't make sense, but again, these inflation numbers could just be like jitters, and no one really understands what's going on. Coupled with that, it's war. We got war, baby. I can see the call resistance is slowly starting to rise there on Tanuki. Keep your eyes peeled on that. This is tracking up to date 52 times a day updated options levels, and the volatility level sitting at 25. What is that? 020. It's 25,020 right here. This is the flip points, and you can actually just see it right here on the screen. So currently the net GEX profile is in the negative. And what we want to do is hopefully catch a ride up to it. This might be a bit optimistic given the environment that we're in, all the way up to the daily POES, although the daily POES is one hell of a strong magnet. As you can see, the daily POES was the turnaround for the dump. So it dumped, hit the daily POES, rejected, hit the daily POES again, rejected. And that's kind of what you want to see. I don't know why it works. I stumbled across these levels and I've been using them ever since, and they are fucking bang on. They are worked out before market open. In fact, these levels are worked out at the pre-market on the Qs, and then I infer them back onto the NQ with a proprietary calculation, which, and I do say so myself, is better than Tanuki Trade. It's actually better than a lot of people's ways of converting these over. It is a dynamic conversion, so it's constantly working. And if you caught the beginning of the stream, you would have seen how it was like kind of flipping up and down until it settled. And that's all to do with the mathematics. The mathematics. So we want some strong mathematics. Again, 6:05, just waiting for this candle to close out. 4 minutes to go. I could probably set that limit right now. If we drop down to a lower time frame, the best time frame in the world, 5 minutes, OBS, we can see there we're starting to get some rejection. This is playing out how I would expect. Most people would need big balls to take these trades. I do not, because the size of my testicles has no impact on my position sizing, and my position sizing is fucking spot on. Now, this might rip down and I might get fucking ripped 2 in a row, but that's exactly why we know, and we have particular rules in our strategy that dictate when and how we take positions. Now, in a weird kind of environment like this, with the VIX sitting, let's have a look at that VIX. So we got that VIX bias going on. VIX sitting very high. VFIX, so the volatility of the VIX, how swingy is the VIX, and that's sitting at 111. Generally anything over 100 means we are super volatile, and that thing is flicking around hard. What the fuck is the VIX? The VIX is the volatility of the S&P, if I remember correctly, and it is a particular gauge that Wall Street uses quite heavily to understand what type of volatility. And in fact, a lot of big hedgies and hedge funds and market participants will actually just trade the VIX. So they'll trade out a couple of months into the VIX, knowing that Trump's gonna, re-elections or whatever the case might be. So they'll use that VIX. And I read a story once about quite a legendary Wall Street trader named 50 Cent. And he's not the real 50 Cent, but it's a trader named 50 Cent who places these 50 Cent call options on levels of the VIX 3 months out, 4 months out into the future. It sounds like a little bit of cash, but he dumps like who knows how many options on that. Right, let's have a look. 220. What's flying through the news? Is there anything interesting flying through the news quickly? Getting a rejection straight on that high volatility level. I can see Tanuki's already fucking out. Alright, there you are, motherfucker. Okay. Let's bring that down again. I would much prefer a long from 24,695. That's actually the 600 level, which has been massive for a couple of weeks now. How far are we? We're 1 minute in. Candle starting to pop down. Looking for that volume. In fact, that volume won't be there. The volume will only be there for another 10 minutes afterwards. So I'll take this 5 micros. We've had 1 L, 1 dub today. But if this dub plays out, it's going to be a banger. 25,083. So from 24,905, we've got 1 minute left. I can see this candle's coming down. Have to wait for it to close. Have to wait because that's my back testing. So don't want to be caught with my balls hanging out of my jeans and then jumping in early like a noob. Some sort of geek, punk, potential knobhead. But we will hit this motherfucker hard. Exactly what I would want to see on the 5 minute candle there on the Qs. Look at that volume. Absolutely nothing burger volume. I'm going to go ahead and set that long in a couple of moments. 30 seconds to go. Really starting to see that turnaround. So that big volume level, 24,926. Yeah, you can see there 943. Just checking all of my markers. Have I missed it? Probably missed it. It's already spiked up, making a bit of a engulfing. Let's see, do we have any screaming Russians? Skiva Peels. Skiva Peels starting to form there on the triple Q. Okay, Skiva Peel is basically where a delta is the opposite And we are set. Okay, so I've set that position there. I did the right thing and waited for that to close. If we bust up, we're going to bust up, or I'm hoping we'll bust up to 25.083. Going to be a very, very tough bust through. But again, I'm basing this just directly on back testing and back testing alone. If we start to look here, it makes sense. Let's have a little butchers here on the 5 minutes. So we've set our traps here. This is our day. This is our S1. Let's go have a look at the official. Yeah. Okay. So just above 605.08 is that. And then we would go all the way up to our call resistance, which is right here at 609. So that's quite a big, it's 3.5 to 1. Reason for that is I set my stop a little bit wider because of that VIX, and I was actually talking about that story earlier. We are decreasing though on the VIX. VVIX starting to come down a little bit. So is the VIX itself and the VIX futures. VIX futures dumping down. Let's have a look here. No, I'm talking cock. It's not unusual. It's not unusual. All right. Not in contango. If that VIX was a bit low, I would tighten the shit out of my stop. I can see we are now spiking back up. Don't want to market buy into that. Absolutely no reason to market buy into that. Let's have a look at some of the stonks. Getting a lot of hate towards the world's fucking greatest AI coder, which is Anthropic and Claude, my favorite go-to. I'm a professional nerd in my personal life. Okay, still nothing burger, still nothing burger. 605.09. That trendy holding strong. Not interested though in that trendy. Does make a little bit of sense to pop down and then spurt back up there. Let's see if we can get that. The dump could be on the cards again. Everything on the fundamentals is looking dumpy. Kind of don't want to be in that, but just looking at the options, there's actually almost no positivity in that options. The S&P 500. Woof. We are at extreme fear on the crypto markets, which is likely where you would now want to say that it's buy time. I don't know about that. I am a big fan of crypto, but just looking at some of these metals markets, yeah, I cashed out of a position on silver that I've been holding since, get this, 2020. No shit, dude. Bought silver around 15 pounds, UK pounds per fine ounce. In fact, they are right. Oh, they're not here right now. I don't have my lucky coin with me. Packed them up, but sold it this morning. Just checking around. No, they are packed up at the moment, but sold that this morning to lock in a gain of almost 300% on that silver. So I was super chuffed with that. Paid for a fucking decent holiday in Cape Town. Appreciate the fuck out of you, silver. Right. Let's have a butchers and see if we can get that pullback. We've got another 15 minutes for that pullback. It's tough to wait for. It's tough to wait for. But for me, again, what I'm looking for is break, touch, and go. So if we can break, touch, and go, that would then play out the M20 POES, which is one of my favorite positions. In fact, last night I had a banger, and I'll show you guys now. Yeah, we've got time, we can go check it out. But last night we had a banger trade. Now this was, where is it, at 5 o'clock? Yeah, here we go. So 5 o'clock, the start of the new 4-hour candle. We had the top wick on the 4-hour, we had the top wick on the 1 hour, we had the top wick on the half an hour, we had the top wick on the 20-minute, and no shit, we had the top wick on the 5-minute too. So I took all of those top wicks just down for a cheeky 1-to-1, 40 points. And that got me another Apex Eval on the cards. This morning took that same account up 500, was it 600, one of the two. But then we took a little bit of an L this morning because that was the M20 Pusia playing out. I was much more happier with that trade than I was with this one that I've got on the cards now. Don't like this trade, but again, my back testing says to me, take it. It's an EST every single time trade. Don't fuck about, just take it. That's the problem. You kind of think that you know what the market's going to do, or you have some sort of inkling. Yeah, fucking no clue. And you are absolutely deluded if you think that you can guess a random market. So we'll see what can happen here. You see, the thing about trading is patterns do exist. Human nature dictates that human beings are monkeys, of course. And we all have set patterns of fear and greed and everything. We'll buy right at the highs, but we won't buy at the lows. Why? Because we're scared of it then, but once everybody piles into it, we do it. And what that does is it generally creates patterns in the market, which do play out repeatedly with statistical edge. But at the end of the day, it is fucking random. And if anything were to play out, how can I say, exactly the same again, it just, and listen to this, it would mean that every molecule in the universe would have to align identically twice in a row. The chances of that are not chances. I'm not that smart, but I do understand a little bit about statistics, and there's statistics impossibility of every molecule on Earth being in the same place twice. So if that's the case, it means that you could never predict the market. Do not try and predict the market, which is one of the hardest lessons I ever had to learn in trading. Don't trust your gut. Trust your strategy. Trust your back testing. Trust what you've seen play out over and over. Here we go. So we broke below. Let's see if we can pop this and dump again. Wick it and go. Would love to see the wick and go. 12 minutes still, so I'll keep that position open, or at least that limit order. Is that a stop limit or a buy limit? I think it's a buy limit, something like that. Anyway, a limit order of, let's get that to the back. Try to keep this shit a little bit clean. I'm used to my charts, obviously. Everyone watching sees a crazy set of lines, but I am just a horizontal line trader. I have nothing else to offer you in this world other than time of day, back testing so much. I have data, so much data that I've personally racked up, and one of those datas tells me that, hey, Tony, if you see this thing rip down on one of your POES levels during the first 2 hours, and I use the 20-minute time frame specifically because what it does is it negates that first 10-minute candle of the open. Never quite know what that first 10 minutes is going to do. Don't like to even trade the open because it's so volatile. But, sorry, just reading the yield in the 10-year treasuries fell below 4%. So demand for treasuries going up. Remember, inverse relationship between prices of treasuries and then the percentage interest that you get on those treasuries. Why would the percentage be going down and the price be going up? Well, because inflation data came out hot, which means the Fed is in a position where they're likely going to have to keep rates higher for longer. Hence the dump on the Nasdaq. Hence why I actually don't like this position. But it is, back testing is back testing. I don't know what to say. Not much I can do about that other than just EST this. Essentially YOLO. Essentially YOLO. That's YOLO. Let's see what's up. Shout out again to my boy Spider. such a cool guy. Fuck, this feels weird, bro. Just speaking to myself in my room. But I'll be trading this shit anyway. Might as well be online, huh? Hopefully soon enough we'll be getting our viewership up and we can start doing some account giveaways. I can approach some of these awesome firms. I don't have much to offer you other than my knowledge and any of my potential positions. Am I profitable? Unfortunately, yes. I am. Is this my full-time job? Flicking no. We're not there yet, and I don't trust funded accounts that much yet. Well, I'm not racking up hundreds of grands, but then again, I'm only doing 5 micros on highly volatile markets and 1 mini to 2 minis normally. So when would I trade 1 or 2 minis? When that number on the VVIX falls below 100 and the volatility of the VIX is less, and then the VIX futures below 20, I'll start hitting it hard. But for now, as per my rules, VIX high and not in positive gamma, and the VVIX high, what I'll do is I'll widen my stops. So instead of my normal 1 strike distance of 40 points on the NQ, I'll widen that just a smidgen to 50. I'll half my position size, but, and here's the crucial part, I don't look for one-to-ones anymore. Because of this volatility, it has an almost inverse relationship. So risk needs to be reduced, but then the runs can be the rides. Let's just say the rides, not the runs. Fucking hell, I got kids, bro. We talk about the runs too loud. But the rides on those positions can be held for way longer. And that's kind of, okay, let's see what's up. We're getting a dumpy here. Maybe I'll get it. How long have I still got? 8 minutes. So plenty of time for this position to play out. What I'd like to see though, and I know it sucks to hear, is this the dump? And if it dumps, it's like a minute. Call it like a minute or whatever left on that. You see, now we're starting to actually also talk about M30 pushes. So I'm getting 2 of my favorite positions setting up here. Let's have a look at the H1 push. H1 push won't be there for another half an hour, so we'll just chill on that. What does that 4 hour look like? I like to get the bottom wicks in the 4 hour. Oh, that's not nice, huh? It's a big top wick on that 4 hour for a rip down. Could be a potential rip down. Let's get back here. So I've got this sitting on the best time frame in the world, 5 minutes. Right, are we going to get back in? Like to see it. Volume starting to peter out a little bit. 2 minutes to go. Let's see where we are. So we've got about 25 points to go. I'm currently sitting with my position in an air pocket, and what I mean by that is, if I look at some of the volume, there is a bit of a gap formed, or a hole almost, between 24,900 and 24,920. And how do I know about that? Pretty simple. On Tradeovate, you just need to go and add an indicator called, what is it? Volume, day, volume profile, and market depth. Most of your funded companies will give you that tool for free. Fuckity fuck. That thing is pumping now. Bollocks. It's the kind of rip that I like to see. Down rip. It doesn't look like we're going to get that all the way down today. So if I don't get that, I don't really have any potential positions. I only trade the first 2 hours, 2 to 2.5 hours of the session, and then I come back a bit later and I catch that power hour. I love fucking power hour. And what is power hour? It's like the last 1.5 to 1 hour of the New York sesh. I love 1 hour from now. That's when London closes, and that's where you'll generally see profit taking or whatever the case might be. Not going to market buy, especially not in this environment. Nobody should be market buying in this environment. Remember, traders get paid not by the hour, but by the patience. So your paycheck is dictated by your ability to sit tight, sit pretty, and wait for your back testing results to play out in real time. Fucking got off that vape, bro. Now I'm fucking smashing these Fumis or these Zins. Don't want to be hitting those things too hard. Fucking hell, dude. Make a man burp. Make a man burp. So let's have a look at some of that news again. Oh shit! What's Trump doing? Oh shit! When did you do the State of the Union? Huh? Trump did the State of the Union. I didn't know that. I gotta go to watch that. I actually do like my boy Trump. Like, it's not part of my world, not in my politics, but anyone that the Simpsons chose, I'm into. 3 minutes to go. Let's see. Wagwan. I'll keep this open for an extra 10 minutes though, because like I said, this isn't just one of my favorites, it's two of my favorites. It's the M30 and the M20 POES. This POES makes a lot, well, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but this makes more sense down here. That's a nice call wall. Let's go have a look quickly at Nuki. Seeing if there's any updates there. So high volatility still at the 25020. My position would try and get to the 25090. The call resistance sitting at the 65. So yeah, I wouldn't. Oh, if it lets me get in, which it doesn't look like it's gonna. Yeah. There. All right. Is what it is. Is what it is. It is what it is. No breakout on the CVD. Absolutely flatlined, although we have this thin blue line, which of course when you draw things on your chart, that's how it's supposed to work, right? Sorry for that snort. Okay, I reckon if we look at, yeah, that's exactly what I thought was happening. So look at the net volume there on Tanuki. Net volume at this level is the highest. And how do we confirm that? Because, yeah, I like to see things from every angle. You don't want to see the bitch from the front. You want to see it from the back. Ah! See what I did there? That's quite funny. Right, yeah, look. Net volume at 607.32. Let's swap over to the Qs so this makes a little more sense. I only trade the Qs. Yeah, 607. Look at that. Net volume on the 607 is pretty high. DEX level. And of course, DEX is what I like to see for tap and go style trades. DEX is the level where things are gonna spike hard, usually in the opposite. So it'll hit a DEX and it'll turn around, and then the GEX being the overall sentiment. Let's flip back over to the NQ, although I don't like their level conversion. It is what it is. Here, anything 24880. Nice. Maybe I need to update this. So let's just use this new functionality on Tanuki to update our levels on the fly. 52 times a session, I think, if I remember correctly. That blue line holding strong. My imaginary blue line. So we squeezed a little bit down when I did that, but you can see we're starting to get a little bit more up there. Now, how can I kind of validate that? If I look at the GEX stream, so that's like what, bottom left bottom left of your screen. Let's have a look at the positioning. So what is Gexstream? Gexstream allegedly shows you dealer positioning versus market positioning. So the market is loads of calls bought above 615, dealers 609. So this is kind of where dealers want to be, above or below. So between 604 and 609 would be your dealer range, and dealers don't try to make money off trading. They're just trying to make money off the spreads and commissions and stuff like that. So if they can provide a market that is super liquid, in fact you can see it between here, if they can provide the market that is super liquid, that just means more and more people are going to be playing the game, and as more and more people play the game and they're not winning, they're fucking with their position, so they're adding to, removing, those sorts of things. And that just increases the fees and the fees and the fees. And that's all they really want, just fees. My potential positions at 605. 604 would be better. But we do keep our levels, or sorry, during these sorts of environments, we do keep our stops a little wider. So that's good. Buys running out of steam. Running out of steam. Let's see if we can continue to keep our patience in check. Remember, I said that currently I should be holding all the way up to the daily POES, which is here at 25,087. But that's a tough one, huh? Again, it's me trying to think of what to do, and don't do that. That is a silly thing to do. In a random world, all you can do is manage risk. And so that's what I am, a risk manager. The day I figured that out was a life-changing moment. I stopped trying to chase wins and just basically accept the fact that I'm going to lose almost every single time. And if I just manage my risk, things could be easier. Right, we only have, well, we've got still 17 minutes on the M30 POES. That's a strategy or an entry pattern called the typical POES. Buys running out of steam. Why are we starting to run out of steam so quickly? Is there news or something coming up? No. It's interesting. No good reason why market participants are starting to thin out. Big support here at 24,970. Yeah, exactly. How did I validate that? I'm looking at the market volume on TradeOvate, the market volume profile. And I'm just looking for these huge areas where a lot of action is taking place, and I always validate that at the end with this little tool here. It's the fixed range volume profile. So if I just go to the fixed range volume profile and go back to the start of day, 609, 606, and that's exactly where it is at 24, 980. Okay, finally that has actually fixed itself. Cool. So we've got our inferred Qs levels working well again. Oh, why your dumbass keeps doing that? Let me just save that shit. Excellent. Okay. Pop that sucker to the back. Okay, suckers at the back. At the value area high. Oh, Spy, I saw you dropped a message. No worries, bro. Thank God I caught something in the UK sesh. Yeah. I also caught something in the UK sesh. My catch was... Where was my catch? I caught it earlier. There. That was mine at 8:30. So I caught London Open with my blue line. Yeah. Couldn't get that bottom wick. Just didn't come down hard enough. 606 was the bounce point. Let's have a look here. 606. 607. Looking more like it. So the market wants to be, at least from market participants that have bought. So that's everyone else. It's basically under 607. So under 607 makes sense. Got to keep your eye on that skew though at 47 neg, plus the fact that we are now coming up to our high volatility level. Let's have a look at that high volatility level. One second. Sorry about that. Right. We are 12 minutes away from removing those limits. Here would be a good short. Not a bad short here. Got to slow down in volume. See if we can catch a little scalp here. Okay, so we're at the top of this box. I'm going to, for the moment, just remove this and this. Let's get rid of that. Beautiful. Starting to see those wick rejections here. If I extend my blue line up, it's kind of where it should be. Well, not should be, but it's kind of where it's rejecting. Flattening out in the CVD. Haven't been able to break through anything there. Might take a little... missed it. Scalp short. Fuck. Bastard. Simple 20 points there. Really simple. Might rip down even further. Could still have my position on the cards then, but bollocks. How did I know that? What was I looking at there? Well, was a couple of easy reads there, and I read the volume quite heavily. So the easy read on that scalp, especially for that 20 points, was here we're at that high volatility level. That's the you can read over there. This indicates that around 6 or 8 is the most volatile level as gamma exposure becomes significantly more negative below the strike while the GEX profile turns positive above it. So around that price, gamma exposure may experience rapid shifts. Look at that. Gap down on the 1 minute. Not much, but still cheeky little gap down there. Let's drop this 20 minutes. Still good. 5 minutes. Yeah. So at this level, sorry, I was busy explaining how that short or that scalp would have been good. Coming up to here, starting to see those rejections, starting to see the squeeze happening. So squeeze, doji, and then squeeze again. Looking at that CVD, this was the swing points over here. So around the 607.30 level, we had a swing point. And how do I work out swing points? It's just 3 candles of a direction in a row. And so you can see here, where is it? Let's just count them quickly here. 1, 2, 3. So here's 1, 2, 3. We only got one pullback, one pullback, one pullback here, and now 1, 2, 3 in a row. So that's my swing high there, and then these here, 1, 2, 3 in a row. So you just keep following it down. That's now my swing low, because 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. In fact, there, that was the swing high there, up there again. So up here, up here, up here, choppy, and then swing high again. So high, another swing high. Looking at this, here was that swing. This never broke out of it, started to flatten out there, got some squeezing, simple scalp. I missed it by like fractions of a second. It was literally because I'm on stream talking shit when I could have been making fucking money, but whatever. We'll have to wait for the next one. Right into the volume pocket here, so 24,970. It's a nice little set of volume. How can I confirm that? Just looking here at Tanuki trade, look at that net volume at these levels is very, very high in comparison to everything else. Massive amount around the put support, but here is that DEX level. So that DEX level, 25,100 ish, around there. That's going to be a good flip if that thing pops up. Son of a... Look at that. I told y'all. What's that? 30, 40 points. So that was all of what I needed. And I could have also just inferred that. How long have we still got on the M30 POES? Sorry, wrong one. This one. M30 POES. I scalp on the 1 minute. So my M30 POES is still kind of on the cards. Let's go look at some of the stuff here. Long position there. So M30 still on the cards, and we're sitting at 25,903. 25,903. Still got 40 points to go. But that's a nice volume area there. My stops would be slightly wider to account for volatility. Swing high. This, wherever this stops is going to be, or wherever we get another 3 green in a row, would be my swing low. Still coming down. 25,911. It's an air pocket of sorts there, so don't like air pockets. How long have we still got in that 30? We still got 7 minutes, so plenty of time. 1/3 roughly, which is not bad, would make sense. This M30 plus where we are in relation to the market, plus my POES levels. Yeah, I'm gonna set that up again. Could take 2 dramatic L's here, but we got to do it. We got to do it. It's an EST trade. I'm going to see that volume reduce on the NAS, triple Q rather. Got that squeeze doji with a big buy volume there. How do I determine what's big? I just take an average. Pretty simple. That average there. Another blue line of sorts forming here. So this could be a bounce. 606. Nothing burger on the GEX stream. 607 actually is. Yeah, that's where the market is positioned to be. That's where the market is positioned to be. 604 is where dealers would like it to be under. And then 607 is where the market would like it to be under right now. What? Just lost GEX stream. Alright, 5 minutes to go. I'm gonna reset that limit. Got some love at 604, 605, but it's not the type of love that I want. It's more like Epstein love. I don't want that kind of love. 25.063 is where I would take it up to. Yeah, nice. Okay, let's see if we can see that. Ooh, see, this is what I like to see here on the 1 minute. Could market buy it, but I don't have any kind of confirmation at 606. But nothing at 606. Less happy with that. I was way more happy at 607. That's why I was quite keen on this initially. Coming down. Let's see if we can. Remember, we are taking a bit of a bigger stop because of the volatility. How do I know it's volatile? Well, because the VIX is telling me. It's pretty simple. Okay, so 606. I'm going to move that up to 606. Yeah, 606.25, and then 24.853 is. Okay, so 24.853. We've got 3 minutes left. And this is on the hour as well, so volume is almost guaranteed at the half an hour and the hour. I don't know why, but I've been doing this long enough to have an opinion on at least that. Why is this thing? I don't want those labels. There you go. Okay. Bastard. Okay. Fuck's sakes, man. This thing's just not playing ball today. But that is what it is. A lot of buys, but no breakout. No breakout. So here we've got something called exhaustion happening. So we've got a swing high here. That's a swing low. Swing low here, swing high. Price breaking out, but the actual price is way lower. So this is showing that buyers, market participants are putting in more market orders for longs at these points. And if you had to infer that into a particular indicator that's just looking at deltas, the differences between the price, we can see that price is breaking up above that swing. So that shows that the market's trying to push above this point here, 607.50. 607.50. Why, oh why? Why do I not have my volume candles on? 607, nice rejection. Let's just get back to normal. I'll fix that for the next stream, but I generally use volume candles. Six or seven rejecting. 1 minute to go. I'm pretty much out this trade. Missed me again. 20 points. Flew up 50. EDs, what EDs? $24,695. Probably be a better position, but whatever. And that is 55 seconds. Just gonna rip down, catch a short. Prefer to be short in this environment. Just sitting there. Yeah, we're here at that point of control. So this is where the most trading volume is taking place. So let's have a look. That wasn't the type of sell volume, so I would expect this to continue to spike back up. Small thin pullback right into that point of control. I don't trade this by itself, and I don't trade anything by itself. I mix it all together and come up with a little narrative that I sit with. And over the years, that narrative starts to get better and better and better and better and better. Just watching. All right, we're out of those limits, unfortunately. The only thing that we could look for now would be the H1 POES. Okay, so that's yo. Let's see what that bottom wick looks like. Would we get that? So we're just stuck here at that big volume zone. And how can we confirm that? We can just look at Tanuki and we can see net volume here on the options. I love options. You're probably looking at it between 20 and 40% of the volume. The Qs and the futures are tightly linked. In fact, there's like a three-way fight going on between the Nasdaq, the triple Q, which is the ETF version of the Nasdaq, and it allows all these hedge funds to use your pensions for to purchase into, and then the futures, and all of them have a relationship, and that relationship is managed by an algorithm. Here would be a good short if you could get short here. No breakouts, so this is also called exhaustion. Don't want to get market order short at this point. Have like another hour and a half to go. Let's have a look at the GEX stream. Has anything changed up here? Not much. 604. So the market wants to be under 607 here. Dealers would love this to get over 609. Make all these market participants suffer. This flip here would mean my bias for the day would change slightly, because we don't really have much of a positiveness anywhere. But it would cause me to rethink. So here at the high of the volume, thus far trade in the New York session, sitting right there in the middle of it. Stupid place to long from. I'd love to get short here, but that volume on the 1 minute looking much better. Oh, nice. Right from the high volatility level. Might do the sensible thing here and jump into a quick shorty. Let me do that. I don't want to take any more pain than above this candle high. Reason being, right here at that high volatility level, we had that rejection, big 1 minute sell on it. Doesn't mean much, but we're kind of stuck in this little range here, fighting between two major forces. If you look at the GEX stream here, you've got the market wanting to be under 607, dealers wanting to be above 609, allegedly, and then dealers also hedging themselves under 604. So if we can get something under like 604-ish, this is kind of where the volume is. So you need some significant breakout here to get there. I'll keep it just at like a 1 to 3 or something like that. Let's hide that up there. Could take some pain up to 608. 608 for me is right, 608, 608. So that's 25,033. So I'll just go above 608, 25,036. We could take this down 607. Could take it down to 606. So I jumped into a tiny little short there. Reason being, rewind the stream. 2,500 I jumped in. So that was actually just below 2,500, like there. Just get that. Oh, sorry about that. It's not what I meant to do. Alright, so we're just watching this maybe play down. Let's get this sent to the back. So I already have sent that to the back. I was looking for 606 as my plec here. So we'll just shorten that out. So we don't need that anymore because that position is off the table. Let's see if we can get to 92, 62. At this point, I'll do a little... because it is making like a little trendy of sorts. Again, it's me trying to think about what's going to happen in the market, which is completely random, completely stupid. So 29.62, that is my 1-to-1 there. But I am looking to get a little bit lower, so 4-1. See if we can get to 4-1 here. I'll trail this heavily as it comes down. Maybe we can get it to all the way down. There's a lot of volume, kind of. Yeah, I can tighten up my stops right now, so I can go to break even, kind of, at this point. This could come all the way down there to 24,815. So far, I've got my TP sitting at 24,943. Let's see if we can get this guy all the way to 606. Like I said, the market wants to be under 606, and how can I have that opinion? Here we go. So we already hit my TP. I'm going to put my trail where my TP was, and hopefully we can get this pushed down to 43 quickly, and that would complete the move. So let's see what we can do here. So 43, let's see if we complete that move. I'm going to trail down to the 50s, 55. So I'm at 55 now. 53. Hopefully this thing can shove down. So I'll try and shove it all the way down to that put support. So let's see, 43. Oh, I wasn't quick enough. My bad. All right, so we got to the 606. So there's another couple of bucks. Another couple of bucks. So just explaining that position a little bit there. Pretty simple scalp. I was actually looking for that exact same scalp a bit earlier. So that's pretty simple scalp, like I said. If anyone is interested, it's all to do with the volume. Sorry, I've got people knocking on my door and shit. But yeah, as expected, 606 becomes then that bounce point back up. I read that quite simply. We got to the top here. If we look at the 1 minute, which is my scalping time frame, we've got the 608 high volatility level. We can confirm that on Tanuki. So on Tanuki, we looked over here and we saw that bing bang bong, we are right here in a very volume intense level. We looked at it earlier as well, and we saw that we had a volume profile, a fixed volume profile, showing us that around this level here was that like upper limit of it. Excuse me, my stops were actually just there. So we had a high volatility level. That was simple 1 to 2 or 2 to 1, depending on where you're from. And that got us a nice little 700. Give me 1 second, I'll explain the trade now.
Do with LA? What?
You're so merged with your own selfishness, you don't even identify it as selfishness anymore. You're such...
What?
You're so...
What does that have to do with LA? What?
You're so...
Cool. So let's have a little chat through about that. More for myself for later than for anybody here. But if we look simply at the GEX stream, we can see that the GEX stream had the market positioned to be under 607 or above 604. So confirming with volume as always, because candlesticks and candle sizes and candle patterns don't actually do anything for me. I don't believe in them. Maybe some like massive wicks or something like that is kind of it's kind of valid. Wicks don't lie. Shout out to Raja Banks, absolute legend. But in terms of the wicks, you can kind of see those wicks. But more importantly is I use a service called Tanuki Trade, and Tanuki Trade offers me the ability to see where, according to the options levels, and again, Tanuki is actually not anything to do with the NQ, it's got to do with the triple Q, which is why I trade the triple Q only, and I infer everything back onto the NQ, and I use prop firms to trade. So with all that said, I could see that the volume was really stacked around here. If I took a tool like this, the fixed volume profile, and I move that guy to the half an hour mark, so from market open till here, this is where the most volume has been, or the top of the volume, so they'll call that the volume area high, the VAH, and then you've got your what do you call this, point of control. You've got your point of control sitting around about here. You've got your volume area high, and all I was kind of waiting for was on my favorite time frame, the 5 minutes. On my scalping time frame, not my favorite time frame, but on my scalping time frame, I saw this kick in. So as it got to this top level over here, bash, I saw first and foremost that the previous swing was here. And even though this price was higher over here, and I missed this was also a scalp I was looking for, but I missed this one over here, no breakout above this, so that's absorption, meaning that there is not enough market participants to try and push this through, and there's huge amounts of limit orders and stuff like that in the system. Then we had a second time where at least it respected the fact that it broke above that one, but still wasn't able to break above this one, so we didn't get enough market participants coming back in. And then once it got to this candle here, that was all she wrote for me. I jumped into that short so quickly because here we had a monster buy at the a monster sell at the top. We touched the high volatility level, and wicks stop losses over the top and just target 40 points down below. Now I actually went more than 40 points on purpose, and the reason I went for more than 40 points on purpose, again, is another tool that I use, the Gex stream, and the market is positioned between 607 and 604. So it was very likely that this market, the market participants were wanting it to be below 607 and dealers wanting it to be above 609 and below 604. And so this is kind of their range. And so 606 right in here is where I was looking for. So I just took a 40 point or 50 point scalp all the way down here, and look at that, we caught the wick on that. So pretty good. Should have caught that wick entry as well. It would have been wick to wick. That would have been sick. But if markets decides to get over 25,020, which is above that high volatility level, the market should start to flip its bias and start to position itself higher. And what that'll mean is if you look at something like, whoa, if you look at something like Gex stream, that's kind of what you want to see. So dealers, and again, who knows what the fuck dealers are doing in terms of their who knows what dealers are actually doing. I don't think there's actually a way to try and understand what dealer positioning is, but this site does claim to understand, and that's Gex stream. And you can see that market participants are starting to stack upper calls above there. So they want to be above here to be in the money. Dealers want to be above here to be in the money, but dealers aren't really cared about profit. They're just looking to ensure that they're always neutral. And so taking this down to another Gex level or just above that Gex level kind of made a lot more sense. So again, massive volume spike at the top. We got that continuation on the second one, and I jumped in on that second one right there. It was actually more like there. So that was my trade down there. Here it's a bit different, and then we can watch it again play out. But this time, way more push. So way more push to be above. Will we break this swing? We've got a little doji, but thin sell volume at the top there. You can see when the volume starts to thin out. Okay, here was not the example, but it's because we'd kind of already been there. Here would be a nice scalp long, but not into the market buys as much. Right at that higher volatility level, I would prefer to bet that we stay within a range than break out of a range. I'm not into that breakout kind of trade. So got some more fun coming in. 607. Market wants to be under 607. Because market wanted to be under 607, allegedly, that's why I could hold that for another 40 points down there, or just under. So I'm trading at Qs. I'm inferring those levels onto the NQ. That was the push you were looking for, huh? But look here, keep your eyes on the volume. Keep your eyes on the volume here. Market's looking to be under 607. I don't see any decks stacked out. The next dex level, which would be a hard turnaround, is 25,100. So up here, right by the daily push. So I would short the daily push if we got back up to it today. That's kind of where I exited earlier. But I'll short that daily push if it comes back. Let's have a look at those metals. Pushing, bro. Pushing. Interesting push there. See if I can get myself some understanding of what the stream's doing. Excellent. Yeah, we're getting some peeps. Sup, and sup. Stream health is excellent. Alright. Chopping up in a range. Would expect it here within this blue box. Why? Because this is kind of where the market's starting to figure out where it wants to go next. This is where all the hedging, unrolls and unwinds and all that sort of stuff. I'm keen on that. So nothing really interesting. We're now getting to the end of my trading session. It's 4:20 now. Cool. So I was having a look around. We are getting to the end of the stream today. Nothing really going on. Market's just super choppy. You'd expect that. Massive inflation numbers coming through. Let's have a little butchers quickly. Trump, FTC. Blah, 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 blah. Dang. Some more warfears. Shouldn't have fucking sold that silver today, huh? Anyway, we'll keep that going. Right. Ladies and gents, appreciate you. We've made, what did we made today? We made 474. So 474 today. Very choppy market, up and down, up and down. This is definitely a scalper's range. It's range play. You'd expect. You would expect the range play, just based on. Let's have a little look here. That's not a bad little. It's not a bad blue line there. Don't trade blue lines particularly, but we certainly do keep our eye on them for that. So nice buy above the 607. Market wants to be below, or the market participants want to be below 607. Dealers want to be above 609. Finding a nice low point and going long would be great. So maybe dealers unwinding under 604. So it's like somewhere down here. So dealers unwinding under 604 would be good. Where's my next push level? That's above here. So it's 25,100. I would short the shit out of 25,100. Now, why would I short the shit out of 25,100? We can look onto Nuki Trade, and we can see categorically that that is one of the bigger decks, if not the biggest decks. Yeah, the biggest decks for the day. 25,100, and dex levels are generally the levels where things are going to touch and go, whereas the GEX GEX levels are likely the levels, or not likely. GEX basically determines what the overall market sentiment is like. Are we structured long or are we structured short? We're starting to squeeze into like a bull flag of sorts. Bing, 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 bing. Could be a dumpy down. So anything below this blue line, and this is kind of why I use those blue lines to get a gauge. So boom, touch and go. I bet someone like Patrick Wieland or one of those skillful gentlemen are looking for, and that's the 605-ish over there. So that's about that. Anyways, we are 3 minutes from the end of my trading session. We got 3 minutes till some volume coming in. Might not be a bad short. Prefer to be long, but the shorts are there, I would say. Let's just see what the stop losses look like. 40-point stoppy. Not what I like to see. Don't like to see 40-point stoppies, unless I'm taking it from one of my push levels. But until next time, it's another dub session, up to 2 hours. Look after yourselves. Have a great weekend, and much love. Peace out. Sorry about that. Now I figured it out.